Promise Partnership is our region's equity-focused, cradle-to-career collective impact initiative. We are a collection of youth and families, teachers, educators from school districts, business leaders, philanthropists, nonprofits, all working to ensure that children in our region reach their full potential. In every single possible measure that you can look at in our community and really across the United States, you will see a dramatic pattern of racial disparities. And when you see a pattern like that, you have to ask yourself, is this a people problem or is this a system problem?
Systems transformation is sorely needed, recognizing the parts of the system as well as the whole, and how the one effort affects another.
In order to affect change in community, you have to be able to influence the environment within which you operate. We leverage schools, we leverage government, we leverage private partnerships to achieve a better quality of life for everyone concerned.
It's comprised of community schools on the ground, collections of partners who are coming into a school building, making sure that they're removing barriers for kids so the kids can just show up to learn, making sure that teachers can simply focus on teaching, really looking at that school as the unit of change.
We're able to say what's important to us within our communities, what are our action steps aligned to those priorities, and how are we measuring the outcome for that effort. And so it's everything from working with community partners on specific curriculum programs, whether it's child nutrition services, whether it's identifying in that early childhood space, what those measures need to be.
Layered on top of that, we have Promise communities. And those are places where civic leaders have said, we're going to rally around those community schools and we're going to fill in the gaps and we're going to make sure that every kid has a pathway out of poverty from cradle to career. And then we have our regional work, which is really focused on that systems transformation piece, often via policy, but also other levers of change.
If you look at Salt Lake City, there are 20 groups working on preschool, 20 groups working on kindergarten. There are a lot of different groups working on different problems, but we know that if we can work together, and we know we can make a difference. And so literally everything the United Way does with collective impact and Promise Partnership is measurable. It's all about being able to look at the numbers and prove that what we're doing works.
The United Way of Salt Lake Board is a backbone organization for Promise Partnership. So we provide governance and support, resourcing, guidance to Promise Partnership and its affiliated members. It's important for organizations, for partnerships to engage with legislators, to engage with policymakers, because they're bringing those voices to those decisions that are being made by policymakers.
We saw the work of Promise Partnerships and realized we needed it to be a department in our community, in our city. Promise South Salt Lake is a department that provides a citywide system of after-school programming for all the youth in our community. It started out as an initiative. Really wanted to make sure that this work was institutionalized in our community and felt the best way to do that moving forward was to make it a city department. We had a refugee settlement in our community and we wanted to figure out how to best welcome the refugees in our community and make them feel a part of something bigger.
I was born and raised in Kabul, Afghanistan. I come from an extremely low-income family, and I'm the youngest of 8 siblings. None of my siblings were able to pursue post-secondary education because of war, because of the systematic disparities that we were facing. While I was at Westminster College, I had the opportunity to be introduced to the post-secondary education initiative team with Promise Partnership. And then I served as a community member, bringing the student voice to the conversations, to inform our decision-making processes, to understand the barriers and disparities that marginalized students around the state faced.
Stories complement data because they show the real-life impact of decisions that are made, of policies that exist on the lives of individuals that we're trying to affect.
Promise Partnership means a lot to me because it has not only empowered my personal voice to be my authentic self, but also it has equipped me with resources and tools to be able to connect well with my community and to be able to highlight their untold and unseen stories and voices.
Part of defining success is seeing the impact that it makes on a family's life. When you see a mom or a dad come in with their child and they get access to a backpack or some hygiene products or some food, that's how I define the success of the community schools.
You have to start somewhere, and it seems so big Once you start and you see these little kids that are smiling and they love to go to school and they're experiencing a sense of accomplishment that they've never experienced before, do it for that.
It's a cliche, but we need to start walking the talk. We need to show how the work that we're doing is really authentic, that we are thinking about racial equity in everything that we do.
Some of the successes that we're seeing is 6 of 9 of our efforts are improved, with the biggest improvements being in 8th grade math, which is a great predictor of post-secondary readiness, but also another area of improvement is post-secondary completion.
In South Salt Lake, they were able to reduce juvenile crime by 66% in the after-school hours just by virtue of having a safe place for kids to go after school. We have seen 67% of our regional outcomes improving since 2014, and 52% of the disparity gaps that we measure have been closing. So that indicates to us that at that highest level, that biggest level that we hold ourselves accountable to, things are working. And we need to do better. We're not satisfied until every individual in Utah is secure, economically mobile, and thriving.